Hi, folks. Cactus Jack here with more country conversations. Back in the early 2000s, I started hearing about various tribute shows related to the Sun Records recording days in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, when I was a kid, I lived through all of this recording time, and I was way too young to understand all the controversy. But over the years, it became clear to me, and just about everyone else, that in amongst all the drama, we were living in a time of music history, and maybe a lot of magic. As the original Sun Records royalty began to fade away, tribute artists and shows became more popular, and one of these was called the $1 Million Quartet. It highlighted those recording sessions at Sun back in the day. Icons Carl Perkins, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash. Well, I first saw Shawn Barker as Johnny Cash in those days, and since then, Shawn has spent 20 years or so entertaining audiences worldwide as Johnny Cash. The show is now called The Man in Black. I caught up with Shawn and his wife Jessica in February 2023 at the Kentucky Opry, and I was so impressed at how this man and his wife have worked and studied to keep Johnny and June's memories alive. Passionate, dedicated. I think those are really good words to describe these artists and the way they go about life. Here's our conversation with Shawn and Jessica Barker. There's more at the end. Country Conversations with Cactus Jack. Shawn Barker is here with Cactus Jack.
Yes, sir.
We're on YouTube, man.
All right.
You know, we got a chance to talk yesterday on the radio, and I just had a great time. I was very impressed with you. And I went home last night and today, and I went through everything I could find on YouTube that was actually told me about you, and I realized where I knew you from. I remembered yesterday the name, and you did our other local theater here, the Carson Center, as part of the $1 Million Quartet.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit back. That's quite a long time ago.
As you told me yesterday, that's how this kind of got started.
The whole thing got started like that,
You want to tell everybody about that? I love the story.
Yeah, I was doing Elvis for years and was torn around, not to the extent that I am now with this show, but I've been getting around the States doing an Elvis tribute and doing the contests and things, and the opportunity came up. I got word about a Broadway show. Nobody even knew what it was going to be at that time. It wasn't even a thing yet. They were still creating it.
Didn't tell you anything.
They were looking for acts like Jerry Lee Lewis and Carl Perkins and all these different 50s music acts. And obviously I was like, well, I'm a shoo-in for Elvis. So they had us do like a video and some recordings doing some songs, and sent that out to Hollywood to Floyd Mutrux, who was directing it at that time. And they called me back and asked, have you ever thought about doing anything with Johnny Cash? Could you send us a video, doing some of Cash's songs? And I was like, I don't really know.
I'm Elvis, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not what I do, but I went ahead and did a couple of songs at that time that I knew. I knew a lot of Johnny Cash's songs because my dad and my grandpa were big fans. They came from Arkansas, like where Johnny Cash came from. Yeah, so he was a big deal to my grandpa, So I knew some of his songs, and I think I did like Folsom and Walk the Line and Ring of Fire, the big ones that everybody knows. And sent that out to Hollywood, and I mean, they called me back like the very next day and was just like, hey, like, you're our guy to do Cash. And I was a little disappointed at the time because I wanted to do Elvis. Of course, everybody wants to be Elvis, man. Like, he's the coolest, right? And he's the best looking.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it took on a life of its own, and you got head and shoulders above the Elvis crowd.
It did, and so I agreed to doing it, because I wanted to kind of break into acting at that time and kind of just get away from the tribute world altogether and just see what I could do with acting. And so I started going out to Hollywood and working on this play that turned out to be the $1 Million Quartet Broadway play that won Tonys and everything out in Broadway.
I watched that. I actually watched it 3 different times. I saw it recorded, and then I saw y'all do it live, and then I went home that night and watched it again. I love those guys. My daughter is actually a blues singer in Memphis now.
Oh, very cool.
And it's really, it's an amazing thing.
It's a neat show. Yeah, it's a really neat show. And so from that, they had me start doing like a full-on like actor's character study, like reading Johnny Cash's biographies and watching videos. And I went to Tennessee and went to his house and went to his grave. And really, I did a character study for about a year before I ever actually took the stage, and then was going out to Hollywood and doing the rehearsals for this show that wasn't even up and running yet. We were actually in like little reading studios like this with producers and stuff. And from that, I kind of started working on a road show, you know, that was just Johnny Cash, you know, and wasn't even really sure what the world would, you know, nobody was doing it. So I wasn't really sure how the world would accept a Johnny Cash show that was done, you know, similarly to like what they're doing in Vegas with like tribute shows and Elvis shows and stuff like that. And so we got started doing that. A cool story that I didn't tell you on the radio. We did a little demo video of like 4 or 5 songs and sent it out to like buyers. The very first person to contact my manager and hire me was Donald Trump.
Wow. Now,
Yeah,
that's a good friend to have, brother.
Obviously, it wasn't
Donald
Donald Trump personally, but yeah, one of my very first bookings that I got was through Donald Trump. They called us and said, "We want you to come to Atlantic City and play Donald Trump's casinos up there."
Wow.
So the president of the United States was the first person to ever hire me.
Oh, that is amazing.
I mean, he wasn't the president at that time. That was like 2004, I think that was.
Still,
but yeah, it's still a cool story, you know.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just
when
so
he ran
you
for
go there
president,
anymore,
I was like,
you're too big for Trump casinos now.
oh yeah, I'm way too big for Trump casinos now. I'm Kentucky Opry.
You said you hit the road. It's been a long road. Your bio says you've been in 12 countries.
I've been in 12 countries. Yeah, France, Germany, Belgium, Australia. Where else did we go? All over Canada. Of course, the United States. Gosh, you start losing track after a while. We've been all over the place. 20 years now, traveling. And this little tour right here is going to be 7 solid weeks on the road before I go back home.
You're a tough man, but I'm looking forward to seeing your show tonight. What can we expect to see tonight? You told me yesterday about your musicians. I met a couple of them while I was trying to find you just now.
Great guys. Great guys.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I have like the best of the best musicians. A lot of them come from LA. My drummer's from Nashville. He works the circuit in Nashville all the time. Most of them have worked with other very famous like rock bands and stuff from the 80s and 90s. Our piano player actually plays for the Babies, which was a big 80s, 70s rock band. He also works pretty often with Survivor, who did like Eye of the Tiger and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, my drummer, he toured with a punk band for that was, if you're a punk fan, you would know who the Dead Kennedys are.
I know the Dead Kennedys.
He played with the Dead Kennedys.
I'm not a big punk fan myself, but I have 4 kids. I'm very well versed with music from the early 50s on.
Everybody in the band has been involved with some bigger national acts and stuff like that, and they're top-notch guys. We try to run the show kind of chronologically. I mean, we kind of weave in and out, but you know, we do like and focus on like what Johnny Cash started as in Memphis at Sun Records with like the Tennessee, when it was all the way down to just the Tennessee 2, when it was just bass and guitar and him. And then we work our way up. We touch base on like the live albums that he did at Folsom and San Quentin Prison. We do a little bit from his TV show. I have my wife here with me that you met earlier.
Yeah, June.
Yeah. And
what is her name?
Her name is Jessica.
Jessica.
Yeah. And she does like the June Carter duets like Jackson and stuff like that. And then also sings all the female backups that we have. And then we go all the way up. We go all the way up through the end of his career and do like what he was doing with Rick Rubin and stuff like that. When we do have a big enough stage and a big enough budget, I'll bring 3 girls out and they'll come up front and have their own little set that does like the Carter sisters and stuff like that.
Can we introduce June on the camera, or is she camera shy?
Oh yeah, maybe a little bit.
Jessica, come over here and stand between us. I got to get you on camera. Okay? Yeah, here's Jessica. This is June for the show tonight.
Yes.
And in 12 countries worldwide.
Yeah.
You're awesome. I watch your YouTube videos, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all.
She was a long-time Branson and Las Vegas singer.
Now, y'all are based out of Branson now.
We're in Branson now. We met when we were out in Las Vegas, and she came on the show, and everything just kind of went from there.
What's going on, everybody?
There's the drummer there.
Come on
Steve.
in. We'll introduce you to
We'll introduce Steve Wilson on this side.
I gotta get into makeup. I'll be right back.
The voice is Steve, the drummer.
Yeah.
I do have to get out of your way. I know y'all are busy. We're getting ready
problem.
for the show. If we can catch up with you, would you like to talk some more after the show?
Yeah, actually, if you want to, like, I do a meet and greet after, and if you just want to come by the merch table, you can maybe talk to me and talk
We
to
will
some of the
look
fans, see
forward
what
to
they
it.
thought of the
Oh, yeah,
show,
that's a
and
good
yeah,
idea.
that's
That
always
would be
good
great.
to see
Yeah.
see what they have to say, and then if they say anything like they don't like you can just edit it.
Yeah, we can edit all that out. You know. That big
2020
lump guy
great.
with the cowboy hat
Yeah.
next to him, I'm gonna kind of edit him on.
Yeah.
Guys,
Thanks,
thank
Jack.
you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to the show,
Oh,
and we
yes.
will see you after.
Yeah.
I want you to sing with us, just like you sing out of your little hymn books on a Sunday morning, right? 'Cause I ain't never been to Benton, but I do know that here in Kentucky, there has been a revival going on, non-stop church service. It's been going on for over 200 hours straight. So I know somebody in here knows what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you this right here, when I was just a little bitty boy, and I was growing up not too far away, outside of St. Louis in a little town called Collinsville. My mom and dad brought me up in the Church of God. It was just a little one-room brick building, and we had pews down either side. The pews were wooden. There wasn't even pads on them. It was just a simple little church. But I tell you what, sometimes in that simple church, sometimes that preacher get to preaching, and he gets so excited, they start running up and down the aisles. Yeah, now, when I was a little kid, it scared me to death. When all the people start jumping. When I was a teenager, I thought it was funny and I laughed at it. But now I'm an adult, I understand what they were so excited about. And I understand what they were dancing about. And I understood why they got so happy when they went to church. So that's what I want y'all to do here tonight. I want y'all to get excited. And I want you to stomp your feet. And I want you to clap your hands. And by time, if you feel like running up and down these aisles, I want you to run right up these stairs. And I want you to come right up here and join me. Because we're going to do something that I know happens here in the Kentucky Opry. We're going to put together a little church right here tonight. But this is not a Catholic church. No. This ain't no Baptist church. This ain't no Methodist church. This ain't no Pentecostal church. This is not the church of the Latter-day Saints. Nobody's going to show up in a black tie on a 10-speed bike and ask you to be part of the Jehovah's Witness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the First United Church of Johnny Cash. Now, notice to the church are locked right now, but that's all right. Walter's got the keys. He brought them all the way from Los Angeles, California. And they're black and white. And they're laid out on that piano right there. And Walter's going to start ministering to you on the piano. And the doors of the church are going to open up. And we want you to raise your hands. And we want you to clap your hands and sing along with us. And we're going to sing you a little song. It's a song about a place, ladies and gentlemen. It's a place. It's just as real as the place you're standing in right here. Matter of fact, it's more real. This is a place where death will be overcome. There'll be no more dying. Ain't gonna be no more sickness. Ain't gonna be no more politics. Ain't gonna be nothing dividing us people ever again. There ain't gonna be no left side. There ain't gonna be no right side. There's only gonna be one side. And that's gonna be standing on the right side of God Almighty Himself, ladies and gentlemen. And that day comes. When that day comes, and those pearly gates open up, you're going to look across, and every brother, sister, father, mother, aunt, uncle that has gone on before you, and they've been waiting over there all this time for you to come back home. When you cross that threshold, they're going to embrace you in a big old family hug. And I can guarantee you this right here. Once you cross those gates, the circle will never, ever be broken again.
Wait a minute.
97 and a half, and she came out to see the show.
All right.
Isn't that cute?
Good.
Did you
Thank
enjoy the show? Did you have a good time? Thank you for coming out. That means a lot. There you go. Thank you. Nope, let it go on the floor. Thank you much. Glad y'all had a good time. Yep, good shirt. Cactus Jack.
Cactus who?
Can we get a picture?
Okay, how many we got? Come on, get in here. Gotta get close. Gotta have to get close.
Come on, Mark.
Close.
Ready? Okay.
All right, thank you, ladies. Thank you. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a good time. All right.
Thank you so much.
Shawn Barker, I want
Yes.
to point you out something right over here. See that poster right there on the wall? Rockabilly Revival.
Oh my God, look, that's
you
me.
are number 2 there. That's 2011, and I've seen you another time in this area.
Oh my
Besides
goodness. Yeah.
your show, I mean, you ramped it up. You ramped it up, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
by the gospel part, everybody in there was standing up and hollering.
We
and
get them
clapping.
going.
And I'm telling you, I really, really hope you can come back.
Man, I hope we can too. You know, I think people get excited as the show goes on because they can see how much fun we're having. And it's just, you know, when you're having that much fun, it's contagious.
Are you based out of Branson? Is that where you
I am now, yeah. During the whole pandemic thing, we left Las Vegas because they was getting crazy, and they offered me a job at a theater down there. And I worked through the whole pandemic. I was really blessed. God really blessed me, you know. And
Are you doing anything in Branson now?
no, now I'm just touring. Like I said, you know, I'm 7 weeks on the road now, and we'll have a little bit of time off. And I got like 40 more shows coming up in the fall. So I'll take a little break in the summer, and then we'll be right back at it.
All right. I know that you told me yesterday on the radio it was maninblack.com.
Yes, sir. TheManInBlack.com.
TheManInBlack.com. I looked on the website. There's a lot of good features there, a lot
Yeah.
of good information. And Shawn Barker, I went back in time for a
I
while.
hope so.
I
That's
went
what we
back in
try to
time.
do. Thank you.
Sunday morning coming down just took me on back.
I
And
love that.
All of them. My dad played country music. When this stuff came out, he was in the Army, and when he came out, he had me singing with him 3 years
Nice.
old. And it's just such a great experience to
Good
go back
deal.
in time.
I love
Thank
it,
you
man.
very
Thank
much.
you, Jack.
And
It was
we
great
will
meeting you.
get this on the YouTube channel.
All right.
And I'll try to send you a copy of it through the website.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you so much.
See you later, Kentucky. That's a wrap. We'll be back next year.